Holy shit. Man. I did not see this one coming, guys. I did not see this one coming. Not at all. Can you believe it? She's dead. You know, at first I hated her. I hated her for a long time. I couldn't look at her without feeling a bit of bile rise up in my stomach. A bit of anger. Hatred. 10 range fucking Nexus cannon. But then, you know, I started playing Protoss. Overcharge got swapped to pylons. And I kind of... I don't know, I guess I came to have a bit of a fondness for putting those pylons around those minerals. Overcharging those pylons and shooting down those drops. But she's gone. They're gonna get rid of her. The mothership core is gonna die. She's gonna die. Yeah. So anyway, I just woke up. I realized, but I wasn't really thinking about it, that Blizzard was going to announce that there's a new massive patch change, and I was like, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. I talk a little bit to some of the guys on the balance team. I had no idea something this big was happening. Let's take a look, guys. I have not had a chance to read through everything. I haven't processed everything. This is my unfiltered thoughts on what the fuck just got announced. Let's go take a look. All right. So here we go. StarCraft 2 multiplayers, major design changes. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, links down in the comments. Check it out. So last year we released patch 3.8, blah, 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 made big changes. As with last year, this kind of patch after BlizzCon around the end of the year when it's the off season is going to make some crazy big changes. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, economy. Now check this out. He says they're going to change the large mineral nodes at bases from 1,500 to 800 per node. Small mineral nodes will remain at 900. So what this means is the last 4 mineral patches on each base will last an extra couple minutes, extra minute or two. And Vespene Geyser value increased from 2,000 to 2,250 to maintain the mineral to gas ratio. So I feel like gas has already lasted plenty long in this game. I'm actually not a fan of keeping that same ratio. I feel like the gas, there's already too much gas in Legacy of the Void compared to the minerals. I don't know. Anyways, that's fine. Either way, so a little bit more minerals. I don't think that really changes that much. You still need to Maynard workers around constantly. You need to like constantly be checking everything that's you know, going on with your bases. It just means, you know, I guess if you get your bases denied, you keep a little bit of mining a bit longer. Okay, so here we go. So the mules are going to be changed. I haven't read this at all. I've literally just read the mothership core and a few other changes. Mules can now harvest Vespene gas from refineries. Mules harvest 10 Vespene gas per trip. Mules harvest 20 minerals per trip instead of 25. Okay. So this is to make mech better, guys. That's the only reason you do this. Terran don't even take more than 3 or 4 gases a lot of the time with bio. But what this does is you can like be like, I'm just gonna like drop a bunch of mules on gases and and you can get out more factories and tanks. That's cool. Okay, I have no idea what impact that's gonna have. That's just funny. I don't know. It's cool. It's funny. I like it. Okay, so the Raven's being redesigned. They're removing all of the existing abilities. All of them. Okay, cool. They're gonna put repair drone, scrambler missile, and shredder missile on it. Okay, what the hell is this? First one is scrambler missile. So this is an anti-mechanical unit ability that temporarily disables all weapons and unit abilities. Okay, so it just basically, it's kind of like a blinder on mech units, mechanical units. So Stalkers are mechanical, Immortals, Colossi. Abilities effective against important enemy units to help swing a battle in your favor. That doesn't help at all against Zerg. Zerg don't have any mechanical units. That's only for TVT and TVP, even if you're down into play. Since it disables abilities, oh, okay, it gets rid of abilities, so you can use it on like Vipers or Infestors as well. Can be used against medevacs and warp prisms to prevent loading or unloading of units. Oh, that's cool. Cutting off retreats or incursions. That's like one of those cute things we'll see like 9 months after it comes out. Pros finally start remembering to do that. That's really cool though. 50 energy, range 8. So this is like kind of a medium range spell, about the same as Fungal. 50 energy, nice and cheap. I assume it's a single target. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't have splash, so it's not an AoE. So you're casting this on a single target. So you bring one of these Ravens out, and you just throw this down on 4 tanks, and blind them, basically. Now, the problem here, they can't attack. You could use it on 4 Marines, technically, as well. The thing is, they haven't mentioned the duration here, so I'm not sure if they've got that set in stone yet. That's really important. Are you blinding a unit for 4 seconds, 10 seconds? There's a big difference. So I wonder where they'll stop on that one. I would say you want to be about 6 seconds, probably, since it's only 50 energy. Maybe 7 or 8 seconds at the most, I think. Repair Drone. Repair Drone is a deployable unit that is unable to move, has a repair beam that restores the health of a nearby friendly mechanical unit. The Repair Drone will give Terran mech commanders a new way to keep their units up and running. Costs 75 energy, and deploys a timed life repair drone. The drone can target and repair mechanical units that enter the area. Now, I assume it's only going to repair 1 mech unit at a time. No information on the actual rate of repair. You know, how much does it get per energy? How long does it actually last? That's really important. If you can drop something for energy that's going to heal up your whole army, that could be really good. If it could heal like 3 Thors to full life or something like that from red, that's awesome. That's great. And no matter what, this is going to be useful, right? This is one of these things that like mech players often don't have SCVs with their army. Sometimes you end a fight, you got a whole bunch of tanks and Thors in the red. This could be cool. Niche ability, obviously aimed at helping mech. So the gas change and this aimed at helping mech. Shredder Missile. All right, functions like the old Seeker Missile, but on impact, it works a bit differently. Instead of doing 100 splash damage, it now only does 30. But it also decreases the armor of all units hit by 3 for a short duration. Excuse me. This is intended to stack less efficiently with itself than the old Seeker Missile, but will be more of a combo ability used with core units such as Marines, Cyclones, or Vikings. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I wonder, can units go into negative armor where you actually get a bonus to damage against them? I assume so. That would be cool, right? Because if you hit a Marine with no armor upgrades, he's got 0 armor, -3, do your units then do +3 damage to that Marine? Because that would totally destroy like Marines in a fight. However, since it works like the old Seeker Missile, I imagine it's going to be reasonably easy to dodge. So yeah, not sure how that one's going to work out. I mean, mainly Seeker Missile worked in big late game air battles, right? And super late game. So this is going to be interesting. If we see a key one like hit the middle of an army, that's going to be sick. You're definitely going to need to dodge this. But yeah, definitely not going to just blow an entire army out of the sky the way the old Seeker Missile did. A new upgrade to increase the blast radius by 20% and its tracking range by 50%. Okay, cool. All right, we've also got the Widow Mine. They're now revealed while Sentinel Missile is on cooldown. Oh, what? Oh my god, Protoss players rejoice. Protoss players rejoice. You don't need an observer at home anymore. The Widow Mine shoots once, and then when it's on cooldown, it's revealed? So they're only invisible when they haven't fired their shot. That's bizarre. This is like the most noob-friendly change I've ever seen, and I never thought Blizzard would take this approach, because the whole idea here is people get frustrated when there's Widow Mines in their mineral lines that just keep killing their workers. Widow Mines, too hard to clean up. How can you find your observer? You got to F2 and find the observer and bring it over there. You got to build a spore. Nah, it'll get one shot and then you can clean it up. This is very weird. This changes the dynamic of Lingbane Muta or Lingbane Hydra against Bio. Often you'd kill the Overseers, right? If they don't have an Overseer, your Widow Mines would survive, and if the Zerg's pressured enough, the Zerg player would forget to morph another Overseer or not get one there in time, and then your reinforcement would come. And this was the whole idea of the Terran Parade push and why it's so strong with Widow Mines, is if the Zerg never fully dislodges you and cleans up the Widow Mines, they get time to recharge and fire again, and that's where the Terran gets to like this disgusting point of value. So that's going to lose a little bit of its power. You're also going to see Zerg players like, I don't even need to build Overseers, just spread against the Widow Mines and then kill them when they're on cooldown. This will make people's lives a lot easier against Widow Mines. Interesting. I don't know. Like I said, guys, this is really just a preview. This is my first impressions. I'm going to need to test these out and think about these a lot. This is going to be really interesting. The elusive and deadly ghost is already a strong late-game tech choice. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Don't care about the words. What are the changes? Cloak is now available by default on Ghost, so no cloak upgrade needed. That's cool. I don't mind that at all. Ghosts now start with 50 energy instead of 75. I didn't even know they started with 75 energy. I thought they needed an upgrade for that. Didn't they need an upgrade to start with 75? Is that even correct, guys? Someone get on Wikipedia right now, double check that. I'll update you guys before the end of this little preview. Mobius Reactor is re-added to the Ghost Academy. It provides plus 25 starting energy to ghosts. Oh, so they actually removed that at some point? I didn't even know they removed that. Apparently they removed the Mobius upgrade. What? They didn't need the upgrade. When did they add that? I didn't even know. You know, I never build ghosts. I don't like controlling like 6 control groups as Terran because I struggle enough with bio-libmine. So this is what happens when you just play mid-tier Terran and you never try to go to late game like me. You just don't even know that the ghosts have already been changed. Liberator is getting a minor design change to its vision when deployed in defender mode. Instead of getting a flat vision increase to allow it to fire into its targeting circle, instead get extra vision within the targeting circle. Okay, so it can still fire unsupported, but you can sneak around it without it seeing you. Whereas at the moment, when you siege up that lib, it gets a whole bunch of bonus vision, and then it can see the fuckers coming in from different sides, right? And have plenty of time to unsiege. Okay, that's a good little change. Real quality of life change. Make it so it's it's a little bit harder to know when to pull out with the Liberator. Still going to be able to queue them up and do big damage though, so not handicapping it too bad. We want the Cyclone's lock-on ability to feel a bit more impactful than it currently does. Oh, really? They're going to get rid of the tickle cannon? Oh, no. So the first 4 shots of lock-on fire more rapidly. The total damage over time remains at 160. So it does initial burst damage a little bit faster. Very minor change, guys. Very minor. It's cute. It'll help against oracles and prisms and stuff when you lock on. But yeah, it shouldn't be a crazy change. And there's a new upgrade, armor-piercing rockets. This upgrade adds +2 armor damage to each of the Cyclone's missiles during lock-on, plus 46 armor damage total. No one's ever going to make that upgrade. That upgrade will never get made. Like, this is one of these things where you're like, the Cyclone kind of sucks at shooting up, guys. But we're going to give it an upgrade so you can turn your shit anti-air unit into a slightly less shit anti-air unit, but only when attacking armored anti-air units. And by the way, you still need to cast lock-on every time. No one's going to ever make that upgrade. It's never going to get used. It just makes no sense. Like, no one's going to use that. It's not going to happen. 46 damage. It takes up to 206 damage over a lock. And that sounds like a lot of damage, doesn't it? But it is over, was it 16 seconds? I think it's 16 seconds. It's like the lock-on takes a long time. It's like 14 or 16 seconds. So, a little bit iffy. Let's go down. New upgrade, smart servos. Thor's, Hellions, Hellbats, and Vikings transform much faster. This is a rather experimental change to see if we can get much more micro out of the Terran transform mechanic. However, we're not targeting Terran siege units such as the Siege Tank and Liberator with this upgrade, as we feel it would take away the interesting counterplay to those units. No one's going to make this upgrade either. Yeah, no, like Avillo will make this upgrade, and he'll be like, this is so good, guys. Now my Thors can shoot down Broodlords better. And that's about it. Like, no one's going to make an upgrade to make their Hellions transform faster. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, no, not going to happen. All right, down to Protoss, guys. This is the exciting part. Protoss, we are looking into smoothing out the control of certain units within the Protoss arsenal, especially in regards to their core splash damage options, with the High Templar, Colossi, and Disruptor. We also wanted to take another look at the early game defenses of Protoss, especially the ubiquitous Mothership Core, and seeing if we could make these defenses revolve more around the basic Protoss early game units. Since these changes are quite large, we will be keeping a close eye on how they all work out. Okay, so this is where the big redesign is happening. You know, everyone said David Kim leaving wouldn't change anything, but like there clearly is a new movement within the balance team here to address some changes which have been kind of begged for by a lot of the community for a long time. What does ubiquitous mean? Okay, I can't define a word like ubiquitous. Like ambiguous, kind of like kind of controversial, right? I don't know. Oh no, it's just everywhere. Ubiquitous is like in your face. Okay, according to dictionary, present, appearing, or found everywhere. I don't think I've ever used ubiquitous in like a regular sentence, guys. I'm even going to let the pronunciation here correct me.
Ubiquitous.
So because the Mothership Core is such an important part of the arsenal. So anyway, let's actually go through the specific changes now. We learn words. We're learning the dictionary. In perhaps the most experimental and risky change of this update, we are trying out removing the mothership core and moving its early game defense role to the Nexus itself. This is not a minor change, and we will be paying close attention to how this plays out during testing. In doing this change, we hope to somewhat simplify Protoss early game defenses by concentrating defensive power in the Nexus itself rather than a specialized unit that moves between them. This is really cool. You know what excites me about this, guys, is the last time I was talking to some of the balance guys, I was saying, you know, I was basically just giving them an overview of what I thought the big problem topics were. And I was like, you know, biggest one with Protoss is that the early game defense is too fragile, especially for low and mid tier players. It's just really hard for them to use a spellcaster to defend rather than moving some units around. And the mothership core is such an integral part, and you've really got to use like a couple of key units and this mothership core very well for the first 6-7 minutes of the game. And it's only once you get up to 3 base that Protoss can really move a big army around. And I was like, but you'd probably need to like totally redesign or remove the mothership core. I know that's not on the table. There's no way you guys are gonna actually do that. So I just I mentioned it and like dismissed it because I just assumed there was no way they would touch this. So I'm actually so excited they're gonna touch this, guys. This is so cool. So what they're gonna do, right, is they're gonna redesign the Nexus ability so that it has chrono boost being redesigned. New Nexus ability, mass recall. So the Nexus themselves can actually use the energy to recall units back to them to defend. And there's going to be shield battery built into the Nexus. Oh my god, that's so cool. I didn't even see that change till just now. We are changing Chrono Boost to behave more like it did during Heart of the Swarm. So it costs energy to cast your Chrono, 50 energy, it lasts 10 seconds, and it doubles a building's work rate. Now in Heart of the Swarm, it lasted 20 seconds and boosted by 50%, but this is going to be an incredible boost. If you chain these boosts, that's actually too much. I think that's overpowered, guys. I think Protoss will just do all-ins again, because you could just save up energy, and then you can chain like 4 chronos on a robo and just get 3 immortals out in like 30 seconds, and you'll just be like, hey, I have 3 immortals, like the fastest possible 3 immortal push. So that's actually kind of crazy. Obviously, this is highly experimental, and they need to try very drastic changes out. So I'm not going to be too critical of this, but I'm going to say 100% double. That is insane. That is insane. And as Jeremy in chat is pointing out, he says, but they'll have no defense if they use all their chrono energy. That's assuming they actually need recall for defense. You know, if you're going to all in your opponent before they even get to mess you up, might not matter. Okay, so mass recall, guys, is going to cost 100 energy. After 4 seconds, all units in target area are teleported to the Nexus. Units are unable to move or attack during this time. Okay, here's the problem. So what we're doing here is we're saying you're going to have the sickest chrono boost ever. Oh, by the way, you've got this sick recall ability, so Nexi can defend themselves. Now, 2 really cool things. What's the problem, guys? They both rely on Nexus energy. Now, this is really cool because it creates a choice in a strategy game. One player might choose to just be like, you know what? I'm going to save all my energy, and I'm always going to be able to recall units and defend my bases without actually leaving my units there. That's pretty cool, right? And guess what? There's going to be the other guy who says, I never use recall. I only use chrono boost, and I fucking kill my opponents because my upgrades are always faster, my tech units are always faster because chrono boost is sick. So I don't know how. The thing is, I feel like most players are always going to pick what gets them the mobility and the aggression more, right? Because that's what allows you to make the plays. So if you think about, especially, I don't know, maybe stats will find a way to use recall for the defense, right? But think about like root hero, guys. Think about hero. Do you think hero is ever going to use recall? No. Hero is going to build a robo at his opponent's 4th base, and he's going to chrono boost 4 immortals every single game. Like, and the thing is, if you nerf chrono boost to make it so it's not as attractive compared to recall, it's still such a trade-off because you're always going to be saving that energy, and you're going to be saying to yourself, in case someone attacks, I need 100 energy. The problem is you need that 100 energy on each Nexus. So with these current statistics, recall is too expensive. It will never get used. It needs to be like 50 energy. And I know that's kind of imba, being able to just teleport units home. That's kind of the problem with putting a mass teleport spell into a game like StarCraft. This made sense in Warcraft, a game where you don't have a lot of economy. You've got your 1 base or your 2 bases to defend. And ever since they first introduced the Mothership Core, I always thought, like, really, you're going to put mass teleport You're going to put mass teleport, like, here into StarCraft, like, a defensive mass teleport? Like, even the way the Arbiter worked in SC1 is, like, kind of insane. You can just teleport an army into your opponent's base, you know, to where that Arbiter is. But then being able to have it as, like, a basic thing you start off with, I always found this a very weird concept. So, for me, the issue here, and what I'm surprised by, is how the hell are you going to balance this so people actually use the recall and don't just chrono boost every game? That's the challenge, because you've got two abilities competing over the same energy resource, and that's just going to be an issue. Like I said, guys, I literally just read these changes. This is my first impressions of it. I'm very curious to see how it works out. Let's look at the third ability. There's also Shield Recharge. In replacing Photon Overcharge, we're trying out a Shield Recharge mechanic. This should allow Protoss players to use more of their combat units for defense. The ability works on buildings and units, so players can decide if they want to keep important structures alive during all-ins or heavy harass. Oh, man! Oh, man, you're going to have your forges, like, almost dying just as 3/3 finishes, and you, like, dump all your energy to heal the shields just before. That's cool. That's cool. It costs 1 energy for 3 shields restored, so if you've got a maximum energy nexus, you can restore 600 shields. Range 8, so it reaches quite far. It has auto-cast functionality and can be cast on units or structure. Cool. So you could just leave your Nexi on shield recharge, and a small drop defense squad is going to be buffed up a little bit by that. That's cool. I like this. I like this ability. I feel like people would leave this on and still use Chrono Boost, because, like, you can use just a little bit of it, right, to defend. That's cool. You can just leave it on. Whereas saving up 100 energy for mass recall is just a bit too prohibitive right now. Interesting to see how that goes. Stalker, another big change, guys. So they wanted to change other early game units. In particular, with the Mothership Core going, we wanted to try sharpening the role of the Stalker, make it more of a shoot and move unit with sniping capabilities. To do this, we're slowing its attack rate, but increasing its damage per shot. So what we've got is the damage has gone up from 10, 14 versus armored, so 10 versus light, 14 versus armored, to 15 as the base, and 21 versus armored. And a big part of that is it'll now get +2 damage per weapon upgrade, up from +1, which is actually very big. But it's going to be about 50% slower at shooting. It's going to go from attacking once every second to once every second and a half. That's actually cool. I like this. So it's going to be like move, shoot. Like, it really has a distinct role there, and it's going to pack a real punch with that damage. Now, if we think about 15 damage, let's think about stats here quickly. 15 damage. What are the most complex, common interactions in the early game? A Zergling, 35 hit points. It's going to take 3 shots to kill, whereas it used to take 4 shots. Yeah, it used to take 4 shots until you got +2 attack. So it's going to take 3 shots from the start. Okay, so yeah, but the attack's a lot slower. So not really any better versus Zerglings. Actually worse versus Zerglings in terms of, like, just a pitched battle. But moving and shooting, obviously, it'll be more effective. It is a little bit more Dragoon inspired, isn't it? Then you've got against Marines, right? Marines have 45 hit points. You will 3-shot just barely a Marine if neither of you have upgrades. So that's cool. So 3-shotting a Marine rather than 5 shots is what it currently is at base level. Early game Terran better watch out. You know how Stalker pressure can be a bit annoying in the early game? Now it's going to be a Stalker. It's just going to fucking... I'm imagining it moving like a Dragoon. Even though it's going to look like the exact same unit, it's just going to shoot a lot slower and pack a real punch. I hope they change the graphic on its weapon so it looks more meaningful as well. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, you're going to see this Stalker run and just, like, fucking start blasting Marines down in 3 shots. That's actually really cool. Very, very cool. Obviously, once combat shields, medevacs, stim, and all that stuff enter the field, everything changes. But for those early game interactions, that's interesting to think about. So it's going to make a big difference against Marines on the unupgraded level. Not so much of a difference against Zerglings. Cool. Interesting to see how that one works out. Stalkers shoot twice every shot. No, they don't, Archon. Nope. While we like how much micro the current disruptor provides, we thought that we could try to make it do damage more consistently with less game-ending potential per shot. To do this, we're making it so the Purification Nova has a triggering detonation circle in the middle of the shot. Basically, if an enemy unit comes in contact with the Purification Nova, it will detonate immediately. In exchange, the damage per shot is reduced, but the cooldown is reduced as well. This allows the Purification Nova to hit more constantly against opposing armies, but each shot is less likely to detonate in the center of the enemy forces and cripple them. So Purification Nova will now detonate on contact with enemy units, so it's going to automatically go off and then set off its explosion. Now, because it's kind of a circle, like this, right? It's a big AoE. I'm hoping it's not when the edge of the circle contacts a unit. I'm hoping there's either a slight delay or it's when the center of the circle hits a unit, right? Because then the splash damage will still overlap to nearby enemy units. If it instantly detonates the moment the edge of this splash reaches a Marine, you're going to hit 1 or 2 Marines with it. So I'm sure they're going to be adjusting this and balancing it to making it so it still usually gets a good amount of damage there. And that should work really well. I think they did say the center. People in chat are saying, let me see. Oh yeah, it is in the middle of the shot. I can read, guys. I'm an intelligent human being. So yeah, they're doing it like that on purpose. That makes sense. It still lasts 2 seconds before detonating. Was it always only 2 seconds? Wow. This stuff goes by so quickly in StarCraft. Damage reduced from 145 plus 55 verse shields to 135 plus 25 verse shields. So it's still going to do a shitload of damage. It's just going to be hard to hit those, oh, I killed 12 Stalkers and 6 Disruptor shots, you know. Cooldown reduced from 21 to 18. Okay, interesting to see how this one works out. When dropped from a War Prism, the Disruptor's Purification Nova will be set to a brief cooldown. It felt a little too strong versus Work Alliance. Oh, really? Oh, I've been having a lot of fun with Disruptor drops lately. That makes me sad. It just wasn't used that much, which is why I'm like, oh, do you need that? But I've also been on the receiving end, and I've been like, that feels pretty bullshit. So, as long as it's only a very short delay, I'm kind of okay with it. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this one. I'm a little bit iffy. Not too keen on that, on delaying that. Because it's such an investment. If you've ever actually done a build where you put Disruptors in a Warp Prism and go drop them, it's like, it's bloody expensive. Even if you kill 10 workers, you're not even ahead. You're just like, well, cool. This was kind of worthwhile. Anyway, Colossi is going to be changed, guys. Damage changed from 12 to 10 damage, but 15 versus light. So Colossi are going to go from average versus Marauders to trash versus Marauders. And they're going to be good against Marines to fucking lasers against Marines. Damage per upgrade changed from 1 to 1. Hey, thank you so much for the sub, Mr. Wayne Terra. Prepare your body for the new Hellion transformation. The most meaningless upgrade in the game. Thank you very much, mate. So damage per upgrade changed from 1 to 1 plus 1 versus light. Okay, so they're going to get more light damage. Okay, so they're going to be... This is going to be good against Hydras and Banes, right? Hydraling Bane. Banelings aren't light, but against the Hydras and the Zerglings, it'll be good. Actually, that's something which I got to think about, though. Colossi already kind of are very iffy against Banelings. They only work on maps with good choke points. If we think about that, if they're going to lower it from 12 damage to 10, Baneling has... Banelings only have 30 hit points now, right? No, 35? Because then and they get plus... No, they have 30 hit points at base. I'm trying to remember because they've gone through so many changes in the last year. You guys can let me know in chat. And they get plus 5 hit points with Baneling speed to go to 35, I believe. So most of the time, by the time Colossi are out, you're gonna have that plus 5 hit points to go to 35. I'm gonna Wikipedia this really quickly. People in chat, I don't trust you. I don't trust you at all. So it says on Wikipedia, yeah, 30 plus 5. I was correct. Yeah. There's people saying like 35 plus 10 and stuff. You fucking trolls. You trying to trick me. So anyway, it used to be with 3-shot a Baneling with Baneling speed. No upgrades included. Now it's going to take 4 shots. But let's imagine you're normally going to have plus 1 at least, if not plus 2 by the time Colossi are fighting Speed Banes. So previously, yeah, it would have been 3 shots. Now it'll be 11 damage. You're still going to take 4 shots. Okay, so Colossi is still going to take 1 extra shot to kill Banelings. That is going to make a difference. Obviously, you've normally got Stalkers and Sentries in the mix anyway. Is that necessarily going to change everything? No, we'd need to see how it plays out. That would need a lot of extensive testing. Whenever I point out these numbers, I'm pointing out important interactions, but you've got to remember fights can go lots of different ways. So as much as I like to highlight that stuff, it's not the whole story. It takes a shitload of testing to understand fully. Range increased from 6 to 7 without Thermal Lance, and the extended Thermal Lance is now only plus 2. So you're going to have the same overall range, but they're a little bit better pre-range upgrade, which is cool. And the cost of the upgrade is cheaper. Overall, this seems like a pretty good change for the Colossi. But I think since Terrans are already playing so Marauder heavy, it's a little bit scary having so much less damage versus Marauders from the Colossi. And this might phase Colossi openings out in PvT. So I think that's a pretty big worry because I think the range of Colossi openings, Charge Lot kind of Stalker openings, Adept Phoenix into Colossi often. This might shift players towards playing Storm a little bit more, as the Storm will be more reliable against Marauders. We will have to see. All right, carrier. For the carrier, wanted to slightly increase the cost of the interceptors, 10 to 15. Thank God. Good change. Good change. High Templar added Psyblast weapon, range 6, damage 4. High Templar have an attack? You know what? Yes. Okay, I like that they pointed this out. Like, this is obviously to keep the High Templar further back. So what this does is normally you A-move your units. And a lot of people, I don't do it because I'm in the Grandmaster League, so I put my High Templar on a different hotkey. But let's face it, I think like 80% of the player base just throw all their shit on one hotkey, or they F2, right? F2 A move, or they 1 A move, right? Maybe not 80%, maybe 60%. So this is going to help these guys. You've got a 6 range High Templar, so it's the same range as Stalkers. And AGM also does that as well, according to Eon Blue, the elitist prick. So yeah, basically you're going to A-move your army, and your High Templar aren't going to all walk into the front like, hey, there's Banelings, let's touch this Baneling. Like, every time you watch High Templar in a battle where you've A-moved, or any spellcaster, you're just there face farming. Like, seriously, guys, do you think it's a good idea to run forward and start, like, patting the enemy melee units? Like, does that seem like a good idea? No. So this is just going to allow, make it easier for you to micro your High Templar, and the damage is, like, meaningless. Like, yeah, they do some tiny amount of damage. A High Templar might beat a Zergling if the Zergling doesn't have any upgrades now. Maybe. We'll see. With the removal of the Mothership Core, we've adjusted the abilities of the Mothership itself slightly. This is likely not its final state, just a starting point. We'll now build it directly from the Nexus. You'll no longer cast Photon Overcharge. Mass Recall now works like the Nexus version above. All units targeted will be recalled to the Mothership. Oh, 6. Your Mothership is basically an arbiter. You can recall your army into the enemy base. That is sick city. And Observer. While we don't want to make Protoss ability gameplay any more complicated, we want to try and make Observers more useful for ladder players. Currently, Observers are selected with the Select All Army button F2 by default, which can often bring Observers out of position and to their untimely demise. While we'd like to keep Observers in this selection, we are considering adding the ability to deploy your Observer for increased vision range in exchange for being unable to move. Okay, that's good. For a second, I thought they were going to say you'd make it unselectable by F2, and I was like, that's terrible. Often you find your Observers with F2 as well. Because, you know, if you lose track of where they are. But that's a good change. I like that change. All these little quality of life changes just to make, like, things less frustrating. I think this is cool. I think it's very cool. Because a lot of these things don't affect pros that much. So a lot of these little quality of life changes are really cool because they'll just help the general player base, which I think is what SC2 should be aiming to make the game more friendly towards. Observer gains 25% more vision, unable to move. Cool. All right, final words, guys. Oh, no, there's more. There's more? Holy shit, Jesus Christ. How much is there? Okay. Unit redesign. Let's whiz through this. Fungal growth, guys. No longer will hit air units. Those units off creep will now be slowed instead of rooted. At the same time, those units who are hit on creep are now rooted to the creep, and the overall radius of fungal growth is larger. So on creep, it's way stronger, right? It's only going to slow people off creep, which is good because burrow fungal was the most bullshit thing ever since they announced it. I was like, this is just dumb. Like, it's not going to affect pro games that much, but for anyone on ladder, like, come on, if you're not at a pro level, you're not going to keep the intensity enough to screw your opponent up. You're going to clump your units, you're going to get fungled, and you're going to lose a game. This is a really good change. Anything to weaken fungal a little bit is going to be good. Increasing the AoE might not even be necessary. We'll have to see how that one plays out. It just means when you're on creep, you need to be a lot more careful. I also wonder what the slow is. Apparently 50%. So yeah, you can still dodge corrosive bile kind of decently with a 50% slow. So it's kind of okay. Infested Terran ability for the Infest is also being changed. So it now benefits from Zerg missile and ground carapace upgrades. The Infested Gauss rifle damage decreased from 8 to 6. Okay, so yeah, at base level, Infested Terrans will do less damage, but they're going to get upgrades, which is super important. And they no longer hit air. They also have a new weapon, Acid Spores. It's a projectile, range 6, damage 14, prioritized over ground weapon. Oh! So they're actually, holy shit, that's pretty decent anti-air. 14 damage versus air. So Infested Terrans are actually going to be like even better at anti-air. That's cool. Interesting. And Infested Terrans spawn much faster on creep. Ah, interesting. Okay, that's cool. Interesting mechanic there. With the Lurker, it's going to be redesigned, guys. You're going to mutate to Lurker removed. So mutating to Lurker is removed from the Hydra Den. Instead, you're going to build the Lurker once you've got a Hydra Den already finished. It's going to cost 100 minerals and 150 gas. So it's going to take just as long. It's going to cost slightly less, but you're going to be able to, yeah, you're going to be able to build it, yeah, separately. Okay, so the change here is it allows you to get the Hydra upgrade at the same time as making the Lurker Den. So it just allows Hydra Lurker styles to get up a little bit faster. And there's a new upgrade called Digging Claws. It's located on the Lurker Den, requires a hive. It costs 150 minerals, 150 Vespian gas, and takes 56 seconds. Okay. It reduces burrow time and increases Lurker movement speed by a little bit. What's the decrease on the burrow time? Yeah. These posts never have all the details. Yeah. Give me the details. I need to know the numbers. I need to know the numbers to have opinions on this. I don't know. I think that's okay. Lurkers kind of suck outside of defending locations, giving them a bit more mobility. Not a bad idea. I kind of like it. Like Lurkers, I say they kind of suck. Like they're fantastic if they get in position, but they're not like a mobile unit. You need to kind of like totally catch your opponent out of position to siege them up. For now, guys, a Viper Parasitic Bomb no longer stacks with other Parasitic Bomb effects. And the damage is tripled. No, that's too much. That's too much. With how much the units stack up. Like the part of me that is a Zerg player is just like, nah, that's fair. That's fair. Like, you know, like when Terran goes mass air and I've got my 16 Broodlords, I feel like 3 Corruptors and a Viper should be enough anti-air. Like, I feel like, because I've already invested in the Broodlords, and if he's got 16 Vikings and 12 Ravens, I feel like it's only fair if I have 1 Viper and like 3, maybe 4 Corruptors. Like, I think that's fair. Like, no, no, the Zerg should have to invest in it. I think that's a bit too much damage. Like, it's nice to not be able to stack the damage. Middle ground though, middle ground, maybe like 90 damage again, or 100 damage. 180 damage is insane. That's too much damage. That's actually scary. It says we wanted to keep the ability as a strong anti-air option, but make it no longer exponentially grow in power. But a single 1 is 3 now. It's already they've got to tweak that number. That's too high. By increasing its damage, Viper user can be more confident about targeted enemies being destroyed. Yeah, still too much. 90 damage would be way too low, says Neon Blue. Well, at least, I mean, 120 maybe, but like, I don't know, guys. It's a lot of damage. You know, you have other things that shoot up. Like, I think 180 is too extreme, because this just makes it too accessible. Like, you got to understand that this isn't just about oh, in a big air battle, I want to cast, you know, 6 parasitic bombs and instantly kill their army. This is about 1 Viper now can obliterate an entire anti-air force if they're clumped up for like 5 seconds. Like, it will obliterate Vikings, it'll obliterate Ravens, it'll obliterate Mutas. It'll get them all in red hit points before they have a chance to split for most players. It's a little bit too strong, guys. A little bit too strong. Overseer. So it's going to have a new ability, Oversight. The Overseer is unable to move, gains 25% more vision. Okay, same thing. It's the whole F2 thing with observers. Cute. Like it. For the Swarm Host, we want to increase the counterplay options against them by slowing down its movement speed off creep to that of the Siege Tank. Ha! Get fucked on, Swarm Host. That's a big decrease. 4.13 to 3.15. To that of the Siege Tank and Immortal, opposing players should have an easier time counter-attacking Swarm Host. Yeah, its move speed on creep is unchanged. However, keeping creep spread very appealing to a Swarm Host. That's fair. That's fair. At the moment, like, have you guys watched any of my games against Vibe lately? The guy builds 36 Swarm Hosts. Like, at the start of the game, I had this game where I made a 4 Archon drop with 2 Warp Prisms, and I killed like 90 Zerglings, 8 drones, and 4 Queens. And then he made 36 Swarm Hosts, and I won the game, but it took me like an hour to finish him off, because like it was on a Mech Depot, which is a great Swarm Host map, and these Swarm Hosts were just running around off creep, and they're just like, "Rrr!" And I'd drop like 4 Archons on them, and I'd kill like 2 Swarm Hosts before they get away, and I just dropped 4 Archons. So I'd be doing the Ferry Micro, where the Warp Prism runs along, and you pick up and drop the Archons as they shoot, and you'd kill like 2 or 3 Swarm Hosts, and another like 16 Swarm Hosts would run. You're like chasing Swarm Hosts with Speedlings, and the Swarm Hosts are outrunning them. This is a fantastic change. Swarm Hosts were bullshit. Especially at low levels and mid-tier levels. And I say low levels. At anything that wasn't pro level, Swarm Host spiraled way too fucking hard. This is great. This is fantastic. It makes me happy. Keep in mind, guys, this is the first pass on the design update for November this year. Things may look very different as testing goes on, with numbers changing, new changes being added, or other areas being rolled back. We're very excited about the potential that these changes have for the StarCraft 2 multiplayer community, and the test matchmaking queue has been activated. Please let us know what you think in the comments below, and have fun. Guys, now we get the funnest part. Let's read this. So long, Mothership Core. Won't miss you at all. Removing Fungal's ability to hit air units is a huge nerf on Zerg's already weak anti-air. Infested Terrans not fair compensation, they are easily killed before they hatch and are essentially immobile. The Fungal nerf also makes Ravagers unable to hit air units like Medivacs. The Parasitic Bomb change only affects late game and doesn't make up for the substantial mid game ANF. That's actually a really good point. So I was saying before, oh, it's unfair to put that much damage on Parasitic Bomb, but since it can't stack and you can't combo Fungal with it, ooh, actually, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, when I think about it in the context of Fungal not hitting air units, I guess having that much damage it kind of makes sense. It's still very cheap though. It's still very cheap. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Like for me, in late game scenarios, Fungal was one of my biggest things which scared enemy air armies away. So if they ever overextend it, I just like Fungal like 8 Vikings, and that's where you'd win the game. So it's going to change late game a lot. I don't know how this will go. We'll see. I'm really looking for salty comments right now. That's why I scrolled down here. Damage no longer stacks with air units from 90 to 180. ... Look at these aggressive ... guys. ... That feel when the balance team doesn't even remember that they nerfed Parasitic Bomb to 60 damage. Dun 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 dun. Zerg has crap for anti-air. Even the 60 to minus 180, it's not minus 180, to 180, but doesn't stack means just got late game air against Zerg and you auto win. That easy. Especially when you can't Fungal growth air units now. What a huge disappointment. I was expecting something to help Zerg deal with air units instead of, well, here is some new building for your lurkers and let's nerf infestors. Good luck, Zerg. So the Stalker will turn into a Dragoon that's less stupid and can blink. Nice. This is the closest thing you'll get to a compliment on the Battle.net forums when you post something as a Blizzard employee. Oh man. Okay, I think that's enough. Negative Nelly comments. Accidentally opens his Discord on stream like an intelligent human being. Thanks for hanging out, guys. So that is my first preview, first look at the changes. I'm sure, same as the changes last year, a lot of them will be rolled back. No matter what changes, what am I hoping for? Mothership Core. We need to keep this guy in the grave. This guy needs to stay in the grave. I don't know. Honestly, I just want to see that get tested really hardcore. Is there a balanced test map out? Someone in chat, let me know is there a way to test these changes? Are these already live on the balance map? If so, I'm going to play a bunch of this today and check it out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Personally, I really want to see how the game goes with Protoss having a stronger Stalker. I think Protoss might need a little bit more. We might need like a little Zealot buff. We might need something else. Might need something else because the Mothership Core was such a key part of defense. Let's see how this goes. I don't think recall is good enough at the moment. I think maybe reduce the energy to 50. I think at the moment Chrono Boost is like insane, so no one's even going to use recall. Everyone's just going to Chrono Boost their shit out really early, and that's going to be the crutch of the Protoss race. Is like, I can get whatever the fuck I want really early in the game. Luckily you can't Chrono Boost buildings, so you can't like speed up a Dark Shrine. But yeah, I really feel like the Chrono Boost at 100% is insanely powerful right now. I mean, it gives the same overall boost, but there's just going to be certain cheeses which is going to make really disgusting. So that's what I'm worried about. We'll see how it goes. StarCraft's a complex game, so here's my disclaimer at the end of this long rambling video, and that is, there's a whole mass of changes. These were my first impressions. I haven't thought them through. My opinions are going to change. That's right, people who are already posting angry comments either in Twitch chat or YouTube. Game is complex, 60 different changes all at the same time to process. I'm sure my views are going to change. I'll release another video once we're down the track, kind of giving you guys updates on my thoughts once I've thought them out more. For now, thank you very much for watching. I know this was a long video. Appreciate you all hanging in there. Click like and subscribe to support the channel. I'll be back in the future with some more videos. If you guys are watching live on Twitch, don't go anywhere. For you guys on YouTube, I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to hug a watermelon, kick a walrus, and of course, punch a garden gnome to the moon. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night. That's how you do an outro like a professional, guys. Fucking right here, we professional.